John Brickley, Andy Katz back with you. Let's stay with the ACC. Virginia Tech going up against 8th-ranked Louisville. Buzz Williams literally would sweat this one out. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the first half, Quinn Snyder drives, gets fouled. Look at the shirt, Andy.
Yeah, he was a Yiddish word we fixing.
And then he goes to the locker room, changes up. And then after that, he just watched Donovan Mitchell put on a show, 26 points, helping Louisville pick up their 22nd win of the season, 94-90. Florida State matching up with Pitt. Seminoles ranked 17th in the country. Let's go to the second half. Pitt with a 12-point lead. Mel Artis from beyond the arc getting it to fall.
By the way, this Pitt team will be dangerous in the ACC tournament in Brooklyn. They're better than their 4-10 ACC record. Dwayne Bacon of Florida State just wasn't his night. He didn't score. He'd been double figures throughout the course of the season. I asked Florida State, did he get benched? And they just told me no. It's just not one of his nights.
Sheldon Jeter with 29 in the win for Pitt. You take a look at the standings. North Carolina holding on to that top spot in the ACC. But then you got Louisville, Duke, and how about Notre Dame in the top 4?
Well, earlier in the season, they were one of the few remaining undefeated teams in the ACC. Now they've sort of regained their mojo after a little bit of a bumpy ride in the middle. To me, the most interesting teams in that list are at number 5 and number 8, Florida State and Virginia. Because, first of all, let me take Florida State. They played 6 straight games against ranked opponents in the middle of the ACC. Then they went on the road for 3 straight road games. They are 3-4 since that 5-1 stretch against the 6 straight ranked teams. You can see that they look a little tired. But I think once you get this Florida State team out of the ACC into the NCAA tournament, they're still going to be a very difficult team to match up against because of their size, their length, and their versatility. As for Virginia, Tony Bennett had told me their margin for error is just incredibly thin. And we're seeing that prior to this Carolina game, they weren't doing the little things, and he told me that. Now this Carolina game, kind of disheartening. They've lost 3 in a row at Virginia Tech, against Duke at home, and at North Carolina. For them to be that far down in the standings when they look like a team that could win the ACC, they got to get their act together so they can get some momentum going into the postseason.
And that 3-game losing streak, the first for the program since 2011, Tony Bennett and the Cavs have to figure out a way to turn it around and do so quickly. Elsewhere in the ACC, Notre Dame matching up with NC State. Recently fired head coach Mark Gottfried still coaching the Wolfpack as they host 25th-ranked Notre Dame in a back-and-forth battle.
That car is on top of me and that tire is squishing me. You got a choice to make right there. I can promise you. I can promise you. Fellas, I'm going to bite that damn tire. Bite the damn tire there, fellas. You hear me? Bite the damn tire.
I like the passion, Andy, but his team just did not get the message.
No, they didn't. And Notre Dame was shooting the basketball exceptionally well. VJ Beacham had a career-high 7 threes. Look, Mark Gottfried was on our show Friday night, and he said the reason he's going to coach the rest of the season once Debbie out of the AD said it's okay is he wasn't going to quit on them. So you got to give him a lot of credit for still going out there and trying to get the job done.
Still an awkward situation as Notre Dame comes up with the win. 81-72 would be the final. Number 13, Kentucky and Georgia matching up. Georgia trying to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. Kentucky battling with Florida for the top spot in the SEC. Malik Monk, how about that move to the bucket?
Great, but for Georgia, this game changed in the first minute and a half when Yante Maton got injured and really disrupted Georgia, but they were able to hang in there and contend with Kentucky.
Yeah, in the second half, a minute left to go, tied up at 73. J.J. Frazier put up 36 points, including this one where he split the defense to get the lay-in. One more look at it, put Georgia up by 2.
How about that screen there? Frazier was phenomenal to keep them in this game.
Next Georgia possession, tied at 75. Kentucky fouled on the rebound. They would get the victory, 82-77. But listen to Coach Cal afterwards.
You know, we're firing coaches in midseason. Are you me? We're firing coaches in midseason. Do you know what I'm putting in my contract? You can fire me at midseason, but you're going to have to pay me $3 million. Oh, you'll let me stay now, won't you? There's a new one that's going to be in the contract, Dwayne. You can fire me midseason, but you're paying me. I mean, why would I even have to think of that? Now, every coach in the country, put it in your contract. What if Mark Gottfried goes at the end and goes on a run, gets to the NCAA tournament, which he was in 4 out of 5 years, 2 Sweet 16s, which is not done at NC State. What happens now if he goes and he wins and he gets another team? He had good players, but they're young. They're like my team. It's hard to do this with young guys.
Some strong words by Coach Cal.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, fact checked. Okay,
Yeah, I know where
Mark
you're going.
Gottfried is getting paid. They owe him $2.28 million because they have 3 years left on his contract. So that's what happens when you fire a head coach with years left on his contract. You are still going to get paid, and Mark Gottfried will get paid. What he initially was talking about there was, in a way, he was sort of defending Mark Fox. If there were any critics for Georgia, where they've been just incredibly snake-bitten this season. They've had multiple chances to win games against Texas A&M, Florida, this game against Kentucky, actually both games against Kentucky, they were right there to win, not able to do so. So in a way, he was defending Mark Fox, who I don't think is in trouble because they've been so close. Now they have this injury with Mayton in this game. But also, he was also defending Mark Gottfried. But I don't think coaches have to get in their contract, because if you get fired like that and you have years remaining, you do get paid.
Mark Gottfried, still a very tricky situation with NC State the rest of the way. We'll see how that unfolds. How about the Pac-12? It was an interesting night for the teams out west. 3 of the top 10 teams ranked out of the Pac-12. We'll bring you the highlights coming up. And we've got a good one for you in the American Sunday afternoon, 4 Eastern on ESPN. UConn taking on Temple in Philly. The Huskies above 500. Temple always a tough matchup. And as always, it can be seen streaming live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. More College Basketball Live presented by Buick coming up after the break.